What is happening, every good people of the world? Welcome. Thank you for being here at the Mad Poet Show. First time live in over a month. It's been close to 2 months. And I think there's only been like one stream in the last 4 or 5 months. It's been crazy. We've been fixing up Sarah's father's house. That is done. The house went on the market. It got sold. And that's awesome. And I'm kicking stuff around. But it's good to be back, and I got someone tuning in from Russia. I don't know what that says, but I will assume that it's a compliment, and thank you very much for being here. And I got Steve tuning in from Live Space. Live Space has been like popping off lately. It looks like it's been going freaking awesome. And I've even recognized some of the people on there from other platforms that have come over to Live Space, so that's super cool. And so wherever you're tuning in from, I'm streaming out to 15 different websites right now, but thank you very much for being here, being a part of the Mad Poet thing. I am not entirely convinced I'm getting messages if you're tuning in from Facebook. I may not be able to see your messages. I don't know for sure one way or the other right now. So beware of that. If you are messaging from Facebook, I may not be getting that. Looks like the other things are working reasonably, so that's cool. It's always kind of funky, your system's down for a while, particularly as complex as something like streaming is, even to one channel, let alone to, the 15 million channels I stream to. I was kind of wondering, is this all working? A lot of times, I had a student years ago, and he said, when I'm holding the guitar, he's a brand new student, just holding the guitar, it feels like I'm trying to stand up in a canoe and I'm just about to fall over. And that's kind of what streaming feels like. It's like this whole thing just feels like it's going to shut down at any moment. And I hope it doesn't. My lights were doing this last time. They're kind of freaking out here. I was testing out the system last night. They were doing that and then they calmed down. So hopefully it will calm down here in a bit and stop doing that. But it doesn't seem to affect the show part so bad. Mad Poet Forever from Russia, thank you very much. I agree, I would like to be around for a very long time. Some people say, would you really want to live forever? I'm like, yeah, I'd give it a shot. But again, thank you very much for being here. I'm the Mad Poet, you are an audience, we are the Mad Poet Society. Right now we're playing my 60th album, Finite Reality. And this next song is called The Ghost of Temptation.
Temptation.
All right, so we are cruising on along. This next piece, called 6 Hours Ago. Personally, I was still in bed. I don't know what you were doing 6 hours ago. There was I've talked about this before, but I haven't been on in ages, so this old band called Metal Church. And their first album was titled Metal Church. And on that album, they had a song titled Metal Church. Very creative. I love Metal Church. They were a freaking awesome band. I think they might even still be active. Great stuff. This opening riff is inspired by that opening riff of Metal Church, off of Metal Church, by Metal Church. So if you know that song, this may sound comfortable to you. This is called 6 Hours Ago. All right. So, I would like to thank Stephen Paris for verifying that I do in fact see chats from Facebook. Welcome, Stephen. Great to see you. And Stephen says, my cat is also enjoying this. Is the Mad Poet also occasional pet whisperer? You know, we actually don't have pets here. Sarah and I are not pet people. The closest we came was just a year ago. We fostered a local cat for about 3 weeks. It had been out in some fights with the local neighborhood cats, and we brought it in on the night that it started freezing. So the cat probably would have died that night from the freezing in conjunction with the injuries. Took it into the vet, got it some antibiotics, got it all fixed up, and that cat is now named Jupiter, happily up in Canada with my sister-in-law and her crew. Pretty cool cat. But so that the last time I've talked to a cat was a year ago, and it was I was so the cat had kind of befriended Sarah out when she was out working on outside projects and stuff. So the cat really liked Sarah. So I was the one being the bad cop, basically forcing it to take its antibiotics every day. So it took us a little longer to bond because I was like jamming this, medicine into her face. I was the bad guy on that one, but it was still an awesome cat. Nonetheless, thank you very much for being here wherever you're coming in from. Oh, my voice is getting raw already. It had been a while since I've been doing these shows. I am definitely planning to be back on a much more regular basis now that things have calmed down and we're actually at home and spending our time mostly at home instead of working on other crap. And it was mostly crap. I don't know if anyone here saw the video I posted on my Discord, but I mentioned in there that I hated that house, and I do. That house that we worked on, I never want to see it again. Bad Cat Cop is a band from Mount Vernon. I want to check that out. That's a pretty cool name. Bad Cat Cop. That reminds me, I went to see this classical guitar duo in Bellingham. I lived in Bellingham early 2000s. And I was going out to music shows all the time, a lot of jazz shows and stuff. There was this classical guitar duo. I think they just went by the duo. They were really good. And they had a piece that had been written for them called Bad Egg Cafe. So BADEGGCAFE was the chord progression. And that song actually inspired me to write Faded Age, in which FADEDAGE is the chord progression. And the Bad Cat Cop reminds me of that. That was a great show. Those guys, I don't remember their actual names, but they were both really solid guitarists. I really enjoyed going to that. And it was interesting too. The little place we went to, it was like a radio museum or something like that. I don't know if it's still there, up in Bellingham. Bellingham, for those who may not know, is a town probably about 80 miles, 90 miles north of Seattle. Well, probably further than that, 150 miles. I don't know. It's nearer to Canada than it is to Seattle. Totally lost my train of thought there. Oh, yeah, so we're watching this show, and they did some very non-standard stuff for classical guitar. And there's a stereotype of classical musicians and classical music aficionados, the devotees of this art, being not entirely open-minded to new ideas. And these guys were actually using like guitar slides on their classical guitars. They did this one thing where they like wound a piece of a guitar string through their guitar strings to make it more like a resonator. They did some really cool stuff. And for the most part, the crowd, like I said, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 people. For the most part, the crowd was pretty open to it. They were like, okay, yeah, we can get behind this. But you could definitely see that there were a few people in the audience that were just kind of bristled by the fact that these guys weren't just playing classical guitar. You're supposed to play classical guitar, and that's all. That's the only kind of music there is. You can definitely see the looks on a few of the faces, but I was just totally digging the way these guys were being very experimental. They had one song where one of them tuned off by a half of a fret, or what we call a quarter step in music. And then between the two guitars, they played this microtonal piece. It was just really awesome stuff. I haven't thought of that in ages. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate that. Let's play some more music here. Let's keep the pace going. This one's called On the Run. Oh, we got some BPME tuning in from Facebook. Thanks for coming in. Says the lighting setup has grown massive. Love it. Yeah, I totally dig my light setup. I really do. It was such a wonky thing getting the lights to work correctly. Between the various programs that I tried out, I finally settled on a program called QLC Plus, and that's been working really well. I've been using that for most of my show times. I've been doing this for a few years now. But yeah, the setup, I'm really pleased with the way it's come out. I need to blast a little more smoke in here and get those to pop a little more. But yeah, thanks for the compliments. We got Wooden Tank also coming in from YouTube. Thank you very much for coming in. I haven't seen you for a while. Of course, I haven't seen anyone for a while because that's on me. That's not you guys. That's my fault. I haven't been on for a while, so of course I haven't seen anybody. And for those who are wondering, if you're just coming in, yes, Sarah and I were over in Western Washington fixing up her parents' house to get it ready for sale. We had to move her dad into a place with no stairs, and the house was in bad shape. Sarah did a crazy amount of work on it. I did a lot of work, but not nearly as much as she did. I had to do a lot more toward the end because Sarah unfortunately dropped a table and broke her toe. And I'll tell you this, if you ever have a chance to watch someone get their toenail ripped out by a doctor, skip it. It's gross. If you were wondering what that's like, it's gross. And this next song is called You May Be Wondering. gonna have to go back and listen to what I just did there on the replay. That song is written in E Locrian. Locrian, for those out there who may not be music theory geeks like myself and Steven, is a diminished mode, and diminished music. That's kind of the quintessential diminished sound right there. It's very dissonant, and so it's difficult to find resolution to the actual tonic of your scale. And there are certainly things we can do to play with that, repetition and substitution chords and things. But I started playing with the idea, well, what would happen if I flatted the 6, which would make it the second mode of the harmonic minor scale. And so I flatted the 6, I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then I realized that I was only one note away at that point from a D Hungarian minor. So I went over to the D Hungarian minor, sharp the 4 of the D minor sharp 7, and got the D Hungarian minor going. So I'm not sure if it sounded cool from my end, but sometimes you play back and you're like, oh, I was wrong. And of course, sometimes you play back and like, oh, dude, that was awesome. So I'm curious as to how that one kind of worked out. We shall see. We're going to kind of continue on with the slow bit here, and then we'll bump it up and get back into the ripping stuff. This next one is in B flat minor. B flat, one of my favorite keys on the guitar. I play a standard tune guitar, and on standard tune guitar, the B flat has no open strings that are in key. So you got to be very cautious. The open strings can kind of act as a bit of a safety net at times, which is both good and I shouldn't say both good and bad. It's good. It definitely presents a new challenge when you don't have that safety net. You can't just fall back on your open strings. So this song is dedicated to my Grandma Marie. It's called "The Shadows Embrace." Just need to make a little note here. I need to do a fade out on that song. That fade out on the clean tone guitars was not correct. Pretty small times. I kind of expected probably more things to get wonky on this. I didn't do my smoke again. Oh, I know why. Because I am an airhead and I forget to do stuff. But you know what I don't forget? What I haven't forgotten. That's right. That, ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at the G sharp minor portion of the show. You are welcome. This piece is called To Think Beyond Rationality. Sabrina! Thank you for the raid on Kick.com. Thanks for coming in. For anyone who may not know, Sabrina's solo show over on Kick is freaking awesome. She's like this one-woman show. It's her and a guitar and a kick drum, and she's freaking awesome. And so thank you ever so much for the great big huge raid. And we got a whole bunch of new followers. Angel Zan and Beef Nips and Kurt P, Own It 3, PTD Man, PD Tab Man, Sabrina herself. Sabrina's following me. That's awesome. Sorry if I missed any followers there. I had like massive influx. So I definitely appreciate you guys being here. Thank you very much. And yeah, if you want to know what Sabrina's like, go to her YouTube channel and look at her song called Bras and Bullets. Dude, it's freaking awesome. I am so into that song by Sabrina. And this is the most people I've ever streamed to. In all of my 3 years of streaming, I've never had this many people watching at once. Thank you so very much. This is freaking cool. So for those who are new here, thanks for being here. And right now I'm playing my 60th album. I have a total of 66 albums that I have released. And this album is a very good representation of the kind of music I do. So if you like what you just heard, that song was called To Think Beyond Rationality. It was in G sharp minor. And kind of instrumental rock is what I do. I've been working a lot on my vocals, and I hope to do some vocal albums in the future. But this is, I've got my crazy setup back here, and I just completely love playing music. So, yes, that's a little Mad Poet information. And for those who are new, as my regulars will know, I am the Mad Poet. You are an audience. We are the Mad Poet Society. You are all now members of the Mad Poet Society. This next song is called Thought Is All I Am. Alright, so we're cruising on along here. We got 2 songs left in the show today. And these are both very fun songs from my perspective. And it's interesting, this next one, I always get to this point, and this song feels like it would cap off a show very well. So it almost feels like this is the end of the show, then it's like, hey, let's have one more into the show. And I'm like, that works well. This song has like this album has like 2 endings. This next one is in F sharp minor if you're playing along on your violins, your flutes, and your euphoniums. This is called A Pile of Skulls. All right, we got one song left tonight. And again, I appreciate everyone being here. This has been freaking awesome for me. I've had a very, very fun show. I haven't actually streamed in over a month, and so the timing turned out really well. And I've only streamed once in like the last 4 or 5 months. As I was talking about earlier in the stream, Sarah and I have been over working on her dad's house, getting it ready for sale, and it was just a big mess. It was a lot of work, and she got her toe broken. It was crazy. So it's really nice to be back to streaming. This last song of this album is a very interesting one from a music theory geek perspective. When I started writing this, I started writing it in just a very standard E minor, which is very common for hard rock and heavy metal music. And I started putting in what's known as a sharp 7 or a G sharp note. And then I realized that I was actually writing this in E Phrygian, which turns it into this weird scale known as an E Neapolitan scale. And it has these consecutive half steps between the 6, the 7, between the 7, the 1, and the 2. Very interesting. And so I was getting these weird chords coming up and stuff. And I'm like, this is interesting. I just decided to roll with it. So I just wrote, and it made for the solos I'm doing. For those who are new, the guitar solos I'm playing are not written in advance. They are improvisational. And what I will often do is I will write just kind of a motif. And it's basically something that will kind of set the mood for where my improvisation goes. And so this one is really funky. I very much enjoy playing it. And it's a great one to close out the show with. So again, for those who are new here, I am the Mad Poet. You are an audience. We are the Mad Poet Society. I appreciate very much everyone coming in, all the people who raided, particularly all the people who stayed from the raid, and my new followers. Totally awesome. Totally digging this. And wherever you're coming in from, I'm streaming out to 15 different platforms. So you're coming in from DLive, Kick, LiveSpace, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Nono, Nemo, Picardo, Africa, Vaughn, Trovo, LiveSpace. I don't know. Wherever you're coming in from, thank you very much for being here. This last song of the evening is called Before Eternity. awesome. Yeah, so we got Todd tuning in from Live Space. Todd, great to see you. You caught me just in time for my last song. Hope you're doing awesome, man. It's really good being back on here. And again, I would like to thank everybody for coming in today. This has been a really awesome show. I wasn't even sure if this show was going to go on and come off properly. You know, I kind of ran all my equipment up last night to see if it was working, and my lights are a little freaking out up here. I'm not entirely sure what's going on with that. Hopefully they won't die out. But yes, wherever you're coming in from, again, thank you very much. This has been an awesome show. Greatly appreciated. I'm tuning out. Until next time, I will see you on the other side.